Oh, accessories. Accessories are like that perfect ice cream sundae on a warm summer day. That cherry on top. That exclamation point, damn it. Accessories are like the vitamins in your medicine cabinet. They vitalize you and bring you joy in this boring, lifeless world. Oh, honey. Vinyl Guru in the house. Here to talk to you about very important subject matter here. Vinyl record accessories that no one tells you about that you really need. Let's get into it.
Vinyl Guru, Vinyl Guru. Vinyl Guru.
Okay, so the first point I'm going to make is somewhat fairly obvious to audiophiles and such, but you'd be surprised how many people don't actually do this. It's going to be sleeving your records. You know, these are inner sleeves and these are outer sleeves. Now, these are secondary to this. This is the primary, more important of the two, of course. But to give you an example with outer sleeves, now outer sleeves, they protect cosmetically. They protect the record. They protect the jacket from wear and tear and scratches and dust entering into the record. But this is on you as to how you would like to spend your money on outer sleeves, as you have the cloudier option compared to the clearer one. So that's on you, honey. But keep in mind, the more important is the inner sleeve, as the inner sleeve actually protects the actual record, which is more important, of course. It prevents dust from entering, it prevents anti-static situations. Most inner sleeves do tend to do that. Especially after cleaning your records, it's better to sleeve them in with polyline, actual inner sleeves, than leaving it and putting it back into that paper sleeve. Because again, the dust from the paper sleeve is just gonna stick on that record again. Something to think about. Now, here's a pro tip, an example that I'll show you here that I do to make sure I double teabag it, honey. Oh yeah, preventative meshes. So it's in the sleeve. This is television, by the way. Love you, you crazy New Yorkers. It's in the sleeve, but I leave the plastic on and just open it on the side, dear. Especially if I don't know if you can see this, but it's got tiny little holes. Yeah, you can't really catch it. Oh, there it is. You see that? You see those little holes, darling? Those little holes are gonna be the ones to let you know that you can actually do this technique with, because you'll know that it won't give you ring wear over time. This plastic sleeve you can leave on forever, honey, and it won't be an issue for you. So I love leaving this on because it's preventative as well as that. And yeah, I know, a little extra, but why not? And then on top of that, I sometimes I'll just leave the paper sleeve that it comes with, because of course it has all that fun liner notes, but I'll just leave it in I'll have the inner sleeve, that, teabag it with that, and slide it in. Well, my next point is going to be guaranteeing and making sure that you have another cartridge or stylus riding about in your place, my dear. You never know what can happen to your stylus at home. So you want to guarantee that you will always have one lying about, dear, especially if you want to continue on the pilgrimage of spinach. So this is the one that I prefer to have, the Nagauka. Really, really great stuff. She purrs, my dear, and she purrs for half the price of an Ortofon Blue or something like this. So thank you, Japanese. You really bring it to us, darling. But if you notice at the bottom of this box, it says elliptical diamond stylus. Let me give you a little education here, as many of you probably don't really know the differences between the various styluses. And to be honest, you really don't have to know them all. There's about 4 different types, and the only ones that really should matter to you are the first two that are the most common. The first most common one is this spherical one. It's not, it's more rounded edge like that. I know that's a head shell and all that, but just bear in mind with me here. The spherical one looks like that, the point. And it's more for scratching and DJ playing and all of that, as it picks up less surface noise and doesn't wear and tear your records as much. If the DJs used an elliptical stylus, a really sharp diamond-headed stylus, they would wear out their records like a mad fire, darling. Now, the difference between the two is that, you know, the spherical ones are a lot cheaper than elliptical, but if you are an audiophile, or depending on the kind of music you listen to, like jazz and real, you know, dynamically ranged music, you're gonna want to stay in the elliptical world, my dear. Oh yes. The next is gonna be brushes, because just like your hair and just like your floor, you do need to clean your brushes before playing them, or your records. And brushes too, I don't know. But clean your records, dear. These aren't particularly my favorite, okay? I don't really love these kinds of brushes. Because to me, they're kind of like sweeping with a broom instead of really vacuuming and doing the job. You know, really, it's just moving it, you know? So I love these. These are really great. This is a Japanese Audio-Technica. This is the number if you want to know it, if you want to look it up right now and buy it. Right there for you folks, right there. But it comes with its formula and it comes with the brush, and I really love it. These ones, now they do the job. They scoop it out. They really get it out, especially when you put the formula in there and really get it going. Far superior than that. That's good, but this is great, you know? Another important thing to clean is also going to be your stylus. And I make sure to have my stylus cleaner as well. I use an Agauka as well, again, for the stylus cleaner. It kind of looks like nail polish, the bottle, but it really quite does the job there. And, you know, nakamashita. They tell you all the instructions on how to clean it. You're going to want to have, you know, you're going to want to go back to front. I know. Different than women, but back to front on this one, and you just want to just move it one motion. But great. Stylus cleaners, you do need them over time, as the debris on the stylus tends to just stick on like spandex, honey. Another thing to think about, honey, is gonna be your stylus weight. This is gonna really track and gauge how much pressure your stylus is putting onto your record. So every stylus, every needle that is, has its own okay numerical amount. So my needle, for instance, tracks between 1.5 and 3. So I generally put it around 2.3, right in the middle there to, you know, do that perfect non-scarce amount. Because you see, the more higher you track it, the more it'll pick up, but the more it'll also wear on your record. And also the lighter it tracks, the more likely it is to skip and also not pick up as much signal, which is not picking up the full dynamics of the music. So you really have to guarantee that you're getting it right, you know? These are fairly cheap too. They're not going to cost you that much. It's maybe $10, and it'll really do you justice, dear. Especially when you're changing styluses often and changing cartridges and all that. You really want to make sure that everything is perfectly aligned. It's really important. Honey, honey, honey. I mean, how many times am I going to say it, really? I'm just going to show it through Charlie Chaplin expressions right now. And hit the damn bell, damn it, hit the bell. Here's another thing to think about. Your mat. No, not your Matthew McConaughey. I'm talking about your turntable mats. I'm gonna take you from good, great, and best, and I'll tell you why. Because it really adds to your sonic template overall, my dear. Now, the first one we have is a felt mat, you know, common, you get them anywhere. They're okay, but I don't like them because they pick up dust fast and just don't really do it for me, really. But they do the job when you need something other than just raw steel. you know, or acrylic or whatever. Next one is gonna be rubber. I really quite love the rubber mats because they give you that low end, baby. Oh yes, that low end rumble. They help with that and also help to calm the vibrational pull. Helps quiet it, but the best to really quiet it is gonna be leather. Leather mats really tame that beast and really quiet your records, and also help with providing that wonderful low end. It really amplifies it and brings it out. So something to think about when you listen to certain kind of music. It's informative to know, isn't it? Speaking of alignment, my dear, I generally sometimes have one of these lying about as well. It's important to check this because you want to make sure that this bubble is right in the dead center. If she's even a little bit off, ooh, trouble waters, my dear, trouble waters. So you want to make sure that your turntable is on perfectly, as it'll guarantee sanity. Another one to really talk about here is gonna be a weight, a record weight. Really good for quieting the vibrations and also calming down the loud warp that's in your face right there. So sometimes it calms it down, but it really depends on the weights. That's another thing too. Some of these come in various weights. So the record weight world is a whole world, darling. Sometimes it's counterintuitive because it can ruin your bell. You know, sometimes it's too much weight and then it's not really 33 RPM. It's a whole thing. But be sure to know that it is, as much as it's gorgeous and accessory jewelry on your turntable, it does have a function. So look into them, see which ones best suit you. I have another one that's even cooler than this one that I have here, but it actually has a little bit that you put under the record. You put the record on top and then you screw it on the top. That really helps tame that warp. I'll show it here in terms of which company it is and all that. I really love that one. I can't seem to find it now. That's actually pretty annoying, but really good stuff, really cool to help with some of these new records that come warped. I know, quality control. Get your stuff together, come on. Another thing to really think about is gonna be a record cleaner. This is something that every record buyer should own. It's vital that you clean your records, you know, and not just move it like you're, you know, brushing it off. I'm talking really getting that grime out of that groove, dear. And, you know, either you do it manually by hand or you do it with a vacuum cleaner, which I miss my Okinoki. I really miss you, damn it. I miss you, damn it. Anyways, here's what I settled for after my Okinoki. I got this brand. I'm sure everybody knows this brand, but I got this brand after seeing this version of it, which really quite enticed me as I could finally see what I'm working with. I'll show you. So, Spin Clean puts out the regular spin cleans like that, very affordable and all that jazz, but the one that I got was the limited clear version. Now we're talking, because now you can actually see what you're working with and how dirty the water has gotten. You know, I really quite love that. So if you can get your hands on one of these instead of the yellow ones, if you want to save your money, do get this one, as you can actually work and shake it out. And you can tell when you need to change your fluid. Speaking of fluid, you do need that washer fluid. You can either get, you know, the small sized ones or that big old mumbo jumbo, honey. But you do need washer fluid to clean your records. You do. Can't just use water, honey. I've seen some of you just use water. You guys make me laugh. But alas, there you have it, folks. Clean those records, please. Well, my final and probably most important note is gonna be Do your research, damn it. You know, technology changes vastly every year. Every couple of years in technology is ancient civilizations ago, you know? So you always want to keep up to date, see what the new cables are, see what the, you know, what the new turntable is that's on the cheap or whatever. New stylus, just check it out. Check it out. You never know what you'll find, and keep informing yourself, as once you get locked in, my dear, you stuck. You stuck like crazy Gorilla Glue, honey. Well, well, darlings, I hope that you learned something, took something away from that, enjoyed my madness, and continue to carry on your vinyl record crusade, dear. This vinyl should never die. Yes. Anyway, you know the drill. Toodaloo, my dear. Toodaloo.